Part 115, the cracks start to show. Hey Reddit. Throwaway account because I don't even know who I can trust right now. I 34M have been married to my wife, 32F, let's call her Jenna, for almost 6 years. Together for 9. No kids, thank God, honestly, but we do have a house together, 2 dogs, and what I thought was a pretty solid life. I'm the kind of guy who believed in building a life slowly and intentionally, you know? I wanted a partnership, not just romance, but loyalty, grit, honesty. The whole us against the world thing. And Jenna, she used to be that. Or she at least did a damn good job pretending. Things started getting weird about 5 months ago. Subtle at first. She started staying late at work more often. She's in marketing, so sometimes she'd say they had client calls running late or networking events. Fine. I never wanted to be the jealous husband breathing down her neck. I trusted her. But then came the makeup. The new lingerie. The perfume she hadn't worn in years. Not for me though. That much became pretty clear. I joked about it once, wow, you're all dressed up just to sit in traffic for a meeting? She just laughed like I was being insecure. Then gave me this half-assed kiss and said, you don't mind me looking hot, do you? I said, not when it's for me, and she rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might fall out of her head. That moment stuck with me. But I told myself I was overthinking it. People change. Maybe she's just focusing on herself more. But then there were more signs, her phone glued to her hand, turned screen down constantly, and this weird sudden defensiveness whenever I walked into the room while she was texting. I still wanted to believe it was just stress or maybe even her going through some kind of personal shift. I didn't want to be that guy who accuses his wife without reason. God, I wish I had trusted my gut back then. Part February 15th, the evidence I wasn't supposed to see. So, fast forward to about 3 weeks ago. Jenna left her phone on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. That never happens. It's like her phone is usually handcuffed to her wrist. I wasn't even planning on looking, I swear. But it lit up. Notification from some guy named Tyler smirking face. Now, I don't know a single Tyler in her life. Not a coworker, not a friend, not anyone she's ever mentioned. That emoji though? That stupid little smirking face? My stomach dropped. I tapped it. Yeah, I know. Privacy and all that. But don't even come at me with that right now because what I saw wasn't just a hey, let's grab coffee. It was a full-on sex thread. I'm talking pictures. Descriptions. Plans. The last message said, can't stop thinking about last night. You're so much better than him. I sat there just staring at the screen, not even breathing. It felt like the room went silent, like my ears just shut off. I didn't even realize she'd come out of the shower until I heard her behind me. What the hell are you doing? I turned around and the look on her face? Not fear. Not guilt. Just rage. Like I was the one who had done something wrong. Like I had invaded her sacred space. She lunged for the phone and I pulled it away from her. You want to tell me who the hell Tyler is? She froze. Just for a second. And then came the lie factory. Part March 15th, gaslight, gatekeep, boss. So I ask her, who the hell is Tyler? And her face does this weird flicker thing like she's trying to reboot mid-lie. Then, boom. She launches into, you're invading my privacy, I can't believe you're spying on me, everyone flirts, it doesn't mean anything, blah blah blah. Like a preloaded script she's been waiting to use. Then she tries this classic. You're just insecure because I've been getting attention lately and you're not used to it. I'm sorry, what? I said, so you're admitting there's something going on? And she goes, no, I'm just saying maybe if you put in more effort around the house or in bed, I wouldn't have to look elsewhere. That's when I actually laughed. Like bitter, can't believe you're saying this out loud kind of laugh. It was so textbook manipulative that I felt like I was in a bad soap opera. You cheat, get caught, and then blame me? She tried to snatch the phone again and I told her flat out, we're not doing this. You're going to tell me everything or I swear I'm walking out and I'm calling a lawyer first thing tomorrow. And you know what she said? Dead serious, completely calm. Fine. You want the truth? We haven't been happy for a long time. Just like that. Like we were having a casual chat about a movie that didn't live up to expectations. I was standing there shaking, heart pounding out of my chest, and she's just tossing out lines like she's reading from a breakup guide for sociopaths. I was still trying to keep it together, thinking maybe there's still a part of the woman I married in there somewhere. But nope. Jenna had officially gone cold. Part April 15th, the other life she was living. So after she drops the we haven't been happy bomb like she's announcing the weather, I just stare at her. I asked her, calmly somehow, how long has this been going on? She shrugs. Then says, a couple months. Maybe more. I don't know, it's not like I was keeping a journal. I legit had to grip the edge of the counter to keep from just walking out right then. She was so casual, like we were talking about trying a new restaurant. No remorse. No shame. Just inconvenience of being caught. I told her I deserved the truth. Everything. And that's when she started giving me pieces. Not all of it, not right away, but enough to make my insides turn to acid. Turns out Tyler isn't just a fling. He's her coworker's friend who she ran into at a bar during a work happy hour. They hit it off and she started venting about our marriage and he was just so easy to talk to. Next thing you know, they're meeting up just to talk, which of course magically turned into hotel rooms and sneaking around behind my back. Oh, and plot twist, he's married too. With a kid. Apparently that was part of the appeal, no strings, face vomiting. But here's the real kicker, she used to tell me she was taking yoga classes after work twice a week. Even showed me the cute little gym bag and everything. Turns out the only stretching she was doing was in the back seat of his car behind a Chili's. I wish I was making that part up. I really do. I asked her how many times it happened. She said she doesn't know. I asked if she loved him. She said I don't know what love even means anymore. At that point I just walked out of the house. Got in my car. Drove nowhere for 2 hours. Just silence and white noise and this pressure in my chest like something inside me had cracked open and started leaking. Part May 15th, the fallout hits hard. So I drove around for what felt like forever. Didn't even know where I was going. I just remember parking in some empty grocery store lot at like 11 p.m., sitting there in the dark, hands on the wheel like I was still driving. I wasn't crying yet. I wasn't angry yet. I was just numb. Like my body was present but my mind had been punted into another dimension. Eventually, I texted my best friend, let's call him Matt. Just a simple, "You up?" Followed by, "Can I crash at your place?" Matt didn't ask a single question. He just replied, "Doors unlocked." Guy's a legend. I get there, walk in, and he takes one look at me and says, "What happened?" I said, "She's been cheating on me." He didn't even respond with words, just walked over and hugged me. I didn't realize I needed that until it happened. I broke down. Right there in his hallway in my hoodie and jeans like some wounded animal. We stayed up all night. I told him everything, Tyler, the sexts, the lies, the Chili's parking lot. He actually winced at that part, like physically recoiled. The worst part was hearing it all out loud. Because saying it made it real. Like I had crossed this line from maybe this is salvageable to nope, this is a nuclear crater. Meanwhile, Jenna was blowing up my phone. First it was, "Please come home. We can talk. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for it to happen." Then it turned into, "You're being dramatic. You're going to ruin our life over one mistake? If you tell anyone, I swear to God." Yeah. Threats. Classic move number 42 in the cheater's handbook. I didn't reply. I couldn't. I just laid on Matt's couch, staring at the ceiling fan, wondering how the hell I got here. 9 years together, and it shattered like glass in a heartbeat. Part June 15th, back to the scene of the crime. So the next morning, I wake up on Matt's couch with a sore neck and a pit in my stomach the size of Texas. My phone has 19 unread messages from Jenna. A mix of guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and one gem that just said, "I don't know why you're making this into such a big deal." I swear, I almost threw the phone into the street. But I knew I had to go back. Not to work it out, hell no, but to grab some essentials and have a face-to-face. Closure, clarity, whatever. Plus, I wasn't about to let her spin some sob story to our mutual friends or her family without hearing my side of things. I walk in around noon. She's sitting on the couch in one of my hoodies, eyes puffy like she tried to cry but couldn't quite commit. The dogs ran up to me like nothing happened. That part killed me. They had no idea their whole little world was falling apart. Jenna gets up and says, "Can we talk?" I said, "Sure, but you're not going to like what I have to say." We sat down. And for the first time I wasn't even angry. I was just done. Like emotionally bankrupt. I asked her again if there was anything else she wanted to admit. She said no. It was just Tyler. That's it. I didn't believe her. Not for a second. You can feel when someone's still hiding something. Her body language was all over the place, arms crossed, fake sniffles, avoiding eye contact. Then she pulled the ultimate manipulative card. "I made a mistake, but I still love you. We can fix this. We can go to counseling." Counseling? Lady, you were rolling around with some married dude in a Chili's parking lot while I was folding your laundry. We're past counseling. We're in hazmat cleanup territory. I told her I was staying at Matt's for now and I'd be contacting a lawyer. She started crying, real tears this time, and said, "You're really going to throw away everything over one stupid thing?" I stood up, looked her dead in the eye and said, "You threw it away. I'm just finally admitting it's gone. Then I grabbed my bag, the dog's leashes, and walked out. Part July 15th, she just won't stop. So I'm back at Matt's, trying to hold it together, sleeping like crap, eating even worse. I'm replaying everything in my head on loop, her voice, the texts, the way she looked when she said it was just a mistake. Like stepping on a landmine and then being told you were overreacting about losing a leg. Anyway, 2 days go by. I'm trying to find a decent lawyer, calling my job to explain I'm taking a couple days off. All while dealing with nonstop texts and calls from Jenna. I blocked her number. Then she started emailing me. And then get this, she showed up at Matt's. Like, physically. At the door. In the rain. Crying. Matt opens the door and immediately goes, nope. Starts to shut it in her face and she shoves her foot in like some Lifetime movie character. She's holding a box of photos, literal printed photos of us through the years, and she says, you can't just walk away from this. We have history. Lady, we had history. Then you lit it on fire and pissed on the ashes. I step in before Matt commits a felony. I go outside with her to talk, mostly so she doesn't cause a scene on his porch. She's shaking, mascara running, absolutely pulling out all the dramatics. Tells me she hasn't eaten, she can't sleep, and has never felt so alone. I ask her one question. Would you have ever told me if I hadn't found the messages? She hesitates. That pause? That silence? It was my answer. I said, yeah, that's what I thought. She tries to play the I was scared to lose you card. I told her. You weren't scared to lose me. You were scared to lose your safety net while you played dress up in your double life. She starts yelling. Literally in the rain. Tells me I'm heartless, I'm abandoning our marriage. I never saw how unhappy she was. I stood there, water soaking through my hoodie, just watching her unravel. Eventually Matt comes out and says, you've got 5 seconds before I call the cops. Jenna storms off, gets in her car, peels out of the driveway like we're in a Fast and Furious reboot no one asked for. I stood there for a long time after she left. I wasn't angry anymore. Just empty. Like she had wrung out every ounce of emotion I had left. Part August 15th, the lies keep coming. So a few days pass. Jenna's finally stopped trying to contact me, probably regrouping, waiting to launch her next round of BS. I'm living out of a duffel bag at Matt's place, half eating gas station snacks, not really functioning. Emotionally, I felt like roadkill, hit, scraped, and just left there while life kept speeding by. Then Matt hits me with a casual. Hey, not to add fuel to the fire, but do you remember my cousin Lindsay? Yeah, I remember Lindsay. She works at the same marketing firm as Jenna. Different team, but same building. Super sweet, always said hi at work events. Apparently, Matt had mentioned what was going on and she pulled him aside to say, Jenna's been acting weird for a lot longer than a few months. So now I'm like, okay, great. There's more. Of course there is. Lindsay tells Matt and he tells me that Jenna was already being flirty with Tyler last summer, almost a year ago. People noticed. Inside jokes, lingering touches at office get-togethers, disappearing during lunch breaks. And get this, there was another guy before Tyler, some sales rep from another company they collaborated with. So Tyler wasn't the first. He was just the latest. I felt physically sick. Like curled up in the bathroom sick. All the time I was making her breakfast in bed, helping her redo the guest room, planning our anniversary weekend in Asheville, she was juggling side pieces like it was a damn sport. And the worst part? It made everything retroactively fake. All the I love yous, the cuddles on the couch, the lazy Sundays in bed. She was double-tapping thirst traps while I was out picking up takeout and thinking how lucky I was to have her. I never felt so stupid in my life. I texted Jenna. First time since blocking her. I said, how many were there? She replied 4 hours later. Does it matter? We weren't happy. That line right there? It broke something in me. Not because it was cruel, but because it was real. She genuinely believed that her unhappiness justified everything. The lies, the cheating, the emotional manipulation. And suddenly, I realized I wasn't sad anymore. Part September 15th, lawyered up and blindsided. So after the does it matter text, something in me just shut off. I wasn't begging for answers anymore. I wasn't wondering what I did wrong. I was done playing the chump. It was time to get my ducks in a row, legally, financially, everything. I called a divorce attorney the next morning. Got referred by a coworker whose ex had tried to screw him over during their split, and apparently this guy was a shark. I wanted a shark. I didn't need peaceful dissolution, I needed someone who'd bite first and ask questions later. We meet, I give him the whole rundown, Jenna's cheating, the timeline, the lies, everything. He listens quietly, then leans forward and goes. So, you do know she already spoke to a lawyer, right? Excuse me? He pulls up the case notes. They keep records of consultations even if the client doesn't retain them, and yep, there she is. Jenna S. came in 2 weeks before I found those texts. Claimed she was in an emotionally abusive marriage and was planning to leave. My jaw hit the damn floor. This woman was already laying the groundwork to flip the script, painting me as some kind of cold, controlling husband so she could play the victim if things went public. Meanwhile, she was getting railed in Tyler's SUV behind a chain restaurant. The attorney looks at me and says we need to move fast. She's playing chess. So I gave him everything, screenshots of the messages, notes on the timeline, even her texts threatening me when I didn't respond. We started drafting the paperwork that same day. I wasn't going to let her run the narrative. No way in hell. That night, I sat alone in Matt's guest room, staring at a folder of my marriage being legally dismantled. And you know what hit me the hardest? She wasn't sorry. She wasn't heartbroken. She was just strategizing. It was never about love anymore. It was about control. Part 10/15. She dragged my mom into this, so I'm halfway through prepping for the divorce. Still living out of a duffel bag, juggling lawyers and emotional trauma like I'm in some sick game show. When my mom calls me, she sounds confused, hesitant. She goes, "Sweetheart, I just got off the phone with Jenna. Is everything okay between you two?" Instant spike in blood pressure. My ex-wife in progress called my mom. I ask what she said, and my mom sighs and goes, "She told me you've been emotionally distant, that you're going through a mental health spiral, and she doesn't know how to help you anymore." I swear on everything. I nearly blacked out from the rage that hit me. Not only is she cheating, lying, manipulating, now she's running a sympathy campaign through my family, painting herself as the concerned, devoted wife while I'm apparently having some mysterious breakdown, using mental health as a shield. I asked my mom, did she mention sleeping with another man behind a Chili's? Dead silence. Then I told her everything. All of it. The affair, the texts, the preemptive legal strike, the gaslighting, the attempt to rewrite history. My mom was stunned. She kept saying, "But she always seemed so sweet." Yeah. Sweet like arsenic. Turns out Jenna had called not just my mom, but my sister too, and a couple of our mutual friends, just planting little seeds of doubt. I'm worried about him. He hasn't been himself. I feel like I'm watching him fall apart. She was poisoning the well, trying to make sure that if I ever told my side, people would already be primed to think I was unstable or bitter or lashing out. And for a second, it almost worked. But once I showed the people close to me the texts, the receipts, the truth, oh man, the tide turned fast. My sister blocked her. My mom called her back and ripped her a new one. Matt told everyone in our circle exactly what was happening. Jenna thought she could isolate me. Instead, she just exposed herself to everyone. She wasn't just a cheater. She was a manipulator, a pathological liar, and when caught, her first move wasn't to fix things. It was to control the narrative. But now, the truth was out. Part November 15th, the last pathetic trick. So about a week after the family fallout, I get a text from an unknown number. No name. Just, "Hey, can we please meet? Just one last time." I knew it was her. No one else had the audacity to show up like a jump scare in my life at this point. At first I ignored it. I was done with the theatrics. But curiosity got the better of me. I talked to Matt, talked to my lawyer. Against my better judgment, I agreed, but in public and only for 20 minutes. We met at a park near our old house. She showed up looking like she'd spent 2 hours getting ready, which was hilarious considering how often she used to leave the house looking like a sleep-deprived raccoon when she was with me. Now suddenly she's done up like she's in a rom-com about winning back the guy she cheated on. She sits down and goes, "I've been thinking a lot. About everything. I just needed space to realize what we had." I almost laughed. Space apparently means Tyler and whoever else. Then she pulls out this envelope. Says, "I wrote you a letter. I didn't want to forget anything." She pushes it toward me like we're in some Nicholas Sparks movie. I open it later. It's 5 pages of pure delusion. A highlight reel of her justifying everything she did, how she felt invisible, how I stopped trying, how Tyler was a mistake, but I was her forever person. The cherry on top? If we both messed up, can't we both forgive? Excuse me? I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I didn't weaponize her mental health or call her mom and spin some tale about how she was spiraling. I was loyal. I was steady. I was there even when she clearly wasn't. But in her version of the story, we both lost our way. No, sweetheart. You got lost? I was just busy cleaning up the wreckage. At the end of the meeting, she actually reached for my hand and said, "Let's not throw away 9 years. Please." I pulled my hand back and said, "You threw it away the second you decided your comfort mattered more than my trust." Then I walked away. I didn't look back. Because honestly, there was nothing to look at. Just a shell of the person I thought I married. Part December 15th, the final betrayal. So at this point, the paperwork is moving. My lawyer's handling everything like a pro. We've got evidence, we've got witness statements, we've even got screenshots timestamped so hard they could be used in a crime scene. I'm emotionally dead inside but functioning. Survival mode. You know? Then, a few days before our first court date, I get a call from my lawyer. He says, "Hey, there's something you should see." Apparently, during the preliminary financial disclosures, which are legally required in our state, Jenna submitted her list of assets and liabilities. Now, I knew we had joint accounts. I knew she had a personal credit card. What I didn't know, she drained $7,800 from our savings account in chunks over a couple months and sent most of it to a Venmo account under a fake name. Guess whose email was linked to that Venmo? Tyler. She was literally funding her affair with the money we were saving for a kitchen remodel. While I was comparing backsplash tiles, she was paying for his hotel rooms, dinners, and apparently helping him pay off some credit card debt. So not only did she betray me emotionally, mentally, and physically, she was stealing from me too. I lost it. I absolutely lost it. Called her. First time in weeks. She picks up like she's been waiting for me to break. I said, "You used our money to pay for the guy you were screwing behind my back?" Silence. Then, it wasn't like that. He was going through a hard time. I was just helping a friend. Helping a friend? I was shaking. Visibly shaking. I couldn't even speak. Just hung up. My lawyer added it to the case file instantly. Said she just screwed herself out of any sympathy in court. That night, I sat on Matt's porch, staring at the stars like some cliché heartbroken dad in a country song, and I realized something. She never loved me. Not really. She loved the life I gave her. The security. The comfort. The stability. But me? I was just the furniture in the background of her fantasy life. She would have kept living that lie forever if she could have. Just collecting my loyalty like rent while chasing whatever low-rent thrill walked past her Instagram feed. But now? She was exposed. Financially, legally, socially. And I was done letting her twist the knife. Part 13/15, Court Day and Sweet, Cold Justice. So court day rolls around. I'm in a suit that doesn't quite fit anymore because stress weight is real. My lawyer's prepped, calm, the guy's a killer in a three-piece. I'm running on caffeine, adrenaline, and righteous fury. Jenna shows up looking like a grieving widow. Full black dress, dramatic coat, even heels, like we were about to shoot a perfume ad for Delusion by Narcissists. She had that fake sad pout plastered on like it was part of her skincare routine. But when we got into that courtroom, her performance crashed harder than Tyler's credit score. First, my lawyer calmly walked the judge through the timeline, presented the texts, the emails, the financial records, the Venmo transfers, even statements from 2 coworkers who backed up the fact that Tyler wasn't some emotional support buddy, he was her sneaky link since last summer. Then we got to the part about her calling my mom and spreading lies about my mental health. The judge looked visibly annoyed, like she had just bitten into something sour. Jenna's lawyer tried spinning it like it was miscommunication and temporary emotional instability, but the paper trail we had? Oh, it spoke volumes. My guy ended with, "Your Honor, this wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a long-term, calculated betrayal that included deception, financial misconduct, and attempts to manipulate third parties." I swear the judge nodded at that. When it was Jenna's turn to speak, she got up, voice all quivery like she was auditioning for a Lifetime movie. "I never meant to hurt him. I just felt so alone. I thought he didn't love me anymore." The judge didn't even blink. Just said, "Feeling unloved does not entitle you to lie, cheat, and drain joint assets." Boom. In the end, I walked out of there with the house, both dogs, and she had to pay half the attorney fees. The savings account she raided? She has to pay restitution in monthly installments, court ordered. And when she tried to negotiate for spousal support, the judge shut her down hard. You don't get rewarded for infidelity and theft. Honestly, I nearly cried. Not out of sadness, but relief. Closure. It was the first time in months I felt like anyone, saw the truth. Part 14-15, Rebuilding and an Unexpected Message. So after court, there was this weird calm. Like standing in a house after a storm tore the roof off and the silence feels louder than the chaos. I moved back into the house, my house now, with the dogs, and for the first time in a long time, it actually felt like mine. The first few weeks were strange. Quiet. Unsettling. I'd catch myself still expecting Jenna to walk through the door, or I'd instinctively glance at her side of the bed like she was coming back. But she wasn't. And honestly? Good. I started going to therapy finally. Not because I felt broken, but because I didn't want to carry her poison into whatever comes next. I got serious about my health, started meal prepping, Matt bullied me into it, and even picked up woodworking again. Turns out sanding down a block of walnut while blasting metal is great therapy. And then totally out of nowhere, I get a message on Instagram. From someone I hadn't talked to since college. Amanda. We dated in college. It was short, sweet, never ended badly, just fizzled when we both moved to different cities. She wrote, "Hey, I heard about everything you've been going through from a mutual friend. I just wanted to say I'm really sorry. And also, you didn't deserve any of that." I stared at that message for like 10 minutes. Not because I thought it meant anything romantic, but because it was the first genuine, unsolicited kindness I'd gotten from someone outside my immediate circle since all this blew up. We started talking. Just catching up. No pressure, no flirting, just two people with history reconnecting on neutral ground. She even said something that stuck with me. People like your ex, they don't just cheat on partners. They cheat themselves out of ever being real with anyone. She was right. I wasn't some boring, safe, unromantic guy who drove her away. I was stable, loyal, honest, the kind of guy you build with. Jenna didn't want a partner. She wanted a fantasy until real life bored her and she chased fireworks with someone who couldn't even afford his own damn dinner. And now? Now I sleep better. I eat better. I laugh again. The dogs are happier. I play guitar without someone rolling their eyes about the noise. The silence in the house isn't heavy anymore. It's peaceful. Part 15/15. What I learned and what I tell anyone going through this. So yeah, that's my story. Or at least the worst chapter of it. From husband to heartbroken to hollowed out to healing. It wasn't just about cheating, it was about being lied to every day by someone who looked you in the eye and said they loved you. It was about betrayal being served up like it was somehow your fault. About watching the person you thought you'd grow old with morph into someone you wouldn't trust to water your plants. But here's the thing no one tells you. You don't heal all at once. You heal in layers. One boundary. One choice. One night you sleep a little better. One meal you actually taste. One moment you catch yourself smiling at something small and realize you're starting to come back. Here's what I'd tell anyone who's going through this hell. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. I gaslit myself for months before I had proof. Cheating isn't a mistake. It's a choice made over and over again with every lie, every cover-up, every moment they looked you in the eye and pretended nothing was wrong. Protect yourself. Emotionally, financially, legally. Don't wait for them to do the right thing, they won't. Don't fall for the crocodile tears. If they were truly remorseful, they wouldn't have waited until they were caught to start crying. Surround yourself with real people. I wouldn't have made it through this without Matt, my sister, my therapist, and yeah, even Amanda's unexpected message. You will be okay. It won't feel like it at first. It'll feel like your whole identity got stripped away. But one day you'll wake up and realize you're not just surviving, you're living again. Jenna? She lost more than she knows. Not just the house, not just the comfort, I mean me. My loyalty, my commitment, my best damn years. She played with fire and thought she was too clever to get burned. And me? I walked through the fire. And I came out clean on the other side. Thanks for reading, Reddit. Hope this helps someone out there who feels like their world just ended. It didn't. It just started over. Opie out. Black Heart.